Hey guys, what's up? It's Simba here. Thank you so much for joining me on the Vision Board podcast.
All right.
Okay, welcome guys to the Vision Board podcast. We got Ruckus in the building. What's going on, Rock?
What up, y'all? It's your Bill Wild Ruckus.
Yes, sir. He's a label owner. He has a record label. He's an artist. He has a clothing brand, Ruckus Gear. Check him out. Ruckus, how you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good, man. Um, I'm feeling good, in certain ways. I'm great to, that you're having me on, and thank you for having me on this podcast, on your
Mm,
podcast. I really appreciate that. I
no
feel good about,
doubt.
but as far as other, certain situation in life that everyday people goes through and I'm going through as well, I don't really feel good about those things. You know what I'm saying? I'm still, but I feel great about this podcast. You know what I'm saying? How y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? Salute to you, bro.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ruckus. Like, you're one of the few voices who has that authentic sound, like your sound. You work hard, you're entrepreneur, you're a businessman, and it's like you're Canadian at the end of the day. This is what it's about. It's about
Yeah,
Canadians connecting with Canadians and sharing true stories and
right.
being very open to be vulnerable. A lot of guys I know are not open to vulnerability. They're just shy away from it, or they just mask it with some mean mugging, hoodie cover-ups, and it's just like, bro,
Right, right,
why are you embarrassed of your face? Why are you embarrassed of yourself? You can't.
right.
So, but like you're on here, and I want to get straight to it. I want to talk about life. I want to talk about everything with you today. So, yeah, tell us a bit about your upbringings and like your story.
Yeah, so basically, I grew up in Montreal, between Montreal and Toronto. I mean Montreal and Toronto, and I grew up basically, around a lot of my friends and a lot of other people that was doing, getting into music and stuff like that, and some of my people were getting into street stuff, at a younger age. So my
Mm,
upbringing was pretty like it was pretty hardcore. There's a saying that I say, and a lot of people, most people agree with me that knows me, is that I didn't realize that I got this name Ruckus in my 20s, right? But I was Ruckus way before then, way before.
mm.
And my upbringing was pretty hard, man. It was pretty hard. It wasn't easy. I went through a lot of accidental injuries and surgeries and stuff like that. Yeah, at a younger age.
What type of surgery we talking?
Like I got hit by a car, man, when I was like,
Fuck,
8 years old, man. I flew up in the sky and I fell
fuck.
on the sidewalk. I remember it, and then blood started pissing out of my legs, but out of one leg, and I'm seeing this, you know what I mean? And I'm on the ground, and then like like the tourists that hit me, they weren't from, obviously they weren't from the town, so they hit
Yeah,
me
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so but then they took me to the hospital. That's a good thing. They took me to the hospital,
Of
and
course.
then apparently I was in the wheelchair for like, which I don't even remember. My mom told me. I do remember the accident though. I was in the wheelchair for like 8 months, which I don't remember.
What?
Yeah, yeah. I
And
didn't
you
walk,
don't remember that
and
you
I
were in
don't
a wheel? You
remember,
were
and I was.
disabled basically for 8 months and you don't remember.
I don't remember, man. The only thing I remember is
Wow.
me getting hit by the car, and I was at the hospital, and then when I woke up, I saw my leg in ice, and then my mom was there, and then I was a little kid and shit, and I was like, I shed a bit of tears, obviously, that shit hurt, and then I just ran across the street because I ran after a ball. I was playing
Oh
with my
yeah.
friends, yeah, and that's what happened. I got hit by a car, and I don't remember being in the wheelchair. And then apparently I still have like a metal plate in my left leg or whatever. I don't remember. Apparently they say I have something, that's holding one of my
Y-
bone that was broken in half.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now it's like it's instilled in you now, and it's pretty much like it's permanent now, right? You can't take it out
Yes,
because it's
yes,
gonna
right.
fuck shit up. But
Yeah, exactly. And then it hurts once in a blue moon. I'll get this intense. But that's nothing, man. I got hit by a rock in the middle of my forehead by my brother when I was a
what?
little kid. I still have a cut in the middle of my in the middle of my, on top of my forehead. Like, You know what I'm saying?
Oh shit.
I was bugging my brother and he hit me with a rock and I don't even remember that. That's something that my mom told me. But I'm thinking out my head, I'm like, what
Oh
if this
man.
cut on top of my head? Like, and like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel it really literally, you know what I mean? I don't know if y'all can see it on camera, but it's like right here, right? It's noticeable when I see
Yeah, no,
some
I can't
pictures.
see it. I can't really see
Yeah,
it.
man. And but then that was actually the first one. You know what I'm saying? The car thing was the second one. Other ones was like me playing with balloon, frying my hand with both of my hands, going to grab the balloon, getting on the steps in the kitchen, and burning both of my hands in the pot of oil, just trying jumping for the balloon. You know what I mean? Like that was like all that stuff happened when I was like, under the age of 8 years old, between 8 and 10 years old, man, and and that shit really like I didn't realize, oh yo, I was Ruckus even at a younger age, but I'm happy that I've made it through those. You know what I'm saying? That you know what I mean. But it wasn't easy going through that in life. That was my upbringing, and then eventually, I joined a gang. You know what I'm saying? When I was like 13
Okay.
years old. Yeah, yeah, I was in Cash Money, Blood Brothers. You know what I'm saying? Cash Money
Mm.
Brothers in Montreal with the Haitians, some Jamaicans, some white people, Lebanese. We had a mixture of different race in our group
Okay, so
of
I wanna cut you off. Sorry for interrupting, but like you mentioned this gang thing. You know what I mean? Like the thing is, do you believe like gang is important? Like how important is a gang? Like I don't condone it, but like I want to know from your perspective, why did you join a gang in the first place?
because see me when I joined now that I'm older and as I grew older, I understood more what a gang is
Yep.
and what it really what it really represents. But me when I was growing up,
Mm-hmm.
only reason why I was a part of but it wasn't really like a gang for us at that time when we were growing up. It was it was during the 90s. You know what I'm saying? So like we're like we were young and we were friends. So that's what for me we're friends that helped each other. We're friends that I couldn't have at my mom's house or I couldn't my mom couldn't. You
Mm,
know what I mean? I go and hustle with my friends. Maybe we sell some weed or maybe we do bad shit. Sometimes
right.
we've done where like some of my friends where I was caught for where my friends were like doing robbing people and shit on the train at the time. I can talk about it because I already did juvenile jail time for that, and I got caught, and I wasn't even the one doing the stealing, right? Just because I was with him, but they got away. But I didn't snitch. But like I believe gang do dumb shit, but then
Yep.
there's a lot of ways where gang is very helpful. There was an instant, for example, one time in Montreal, my brother, and until today, it's like, I didn't ask you to help me. Yeah, I saved your life. You know what I mean? One of my younger, but he lives in Montreal, right? He's married, with his kids. He has his mixed kids, Lebanese wife or whatever, his high school sweetheart. I helped him though when he was a kid because he wasn't about that gang shit. He was the opposite brother. He
So
was about
you would you agree like having a gang is basically having a family member, like a support system? Would you agree? It's similar to that?
it's a support group. Yeah, system. Yeah,
Support
yeah.
group.
That's gonna hold a support
Uh
group.
yeah, I mean
Or
that's important. That's important.
yeah,
But
yeah.
we all have it, but we don't call it gang, you know what I mean?
Exactly,
But
exactly.
now a lot of the younger generation, they're throwing that word out like it's a light word. Oh, this is what do you call it? This is my gangy, or this is my squad, or my
Right,
you know what I
right,
mean? Like, but Rock, I know we don't I'm not a premium member on the Zoom. We don't have that much time, but obviously we can always
right.
talk more, and if you
Definitely.
want, we can have you back on the
Oh yeah,
pod.
no problem, brother.
But
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I want
guide
to
me through it.
ask,
Guide me through it, brother. Yeah, man.
I'll definitely bring you back on, but obviously I want to ask the most important question as well, as like
Oh,
your biggest moment, like your aha moment, like in your
this
career,
is my first
because
Zoom
you
too,
do
man.
so
Like,
much.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The people obviously, this is the Vision Board podcast. The people want to know like your biggest aha moment so far.
Uh,
What would that
Vision
be?
podcast. Uh, um, but in what perspective? Like,
And
what
like
area?
and like okay, so I my biggest aha moment would probably be like knowing that people are listening, but
Yeah.
they're not really tuned in. I don't know if that makes sense. people are tuned in, but they're not really ignoring you. So you might have 0 likes and like 1 view on your post, but you don't know that there's someone out there who's picking up that information and they're not thanking you for it, but they're tuned in. So that's my aha moment. Like, aha. So people are listening without tapping in. Okay. That was like
Right.
my biggest aha moment. But I don't know for you, it could be different. Like what is that realization in your life that made you say, aha,
Um,
I figured this out. Yeah, what would that be?
it's quite a bit. So, I mean, there's a few, but one lately that have happened to me, um, in a constant way, especially kind of like when I kind of switched my career a bit and kind of levitated and shit
Mm-hmm.
in my music career. It was,
Mm-hmm.
it's like when, you know, I know certain people talk to artists, superstars, but
Yeah.
when like I holler at a superstar, or or they're doing something and they holler back, like like Benny
Oh,
the Butcher, for example,
like a big artist from
a
your
big
country messages you.
back, like
That's
yo,
crazy.
or messages you like yo, what's up, or like you're like yo, what's up? Remember when we did that show together? Like yo, what's up, bro?
And then they remember you too from that time. Oh, that's the best feeling ever.
It's 2 years ago. Like they're like, "What's up, Rock?" Like you're like, "What the?" Like that's my that's what it is for me, man. And lately I talked to Benny the Butcher too. I'm like, I talked to
Oh, shout
Game,
out to Benny.
Benny the
Yeah.
Butcher, yeah, man. Even Game, I talked to Game a few times
Oh, shout out
on
to the
IG.
game. Shout out to him.
Yeah, man. But that's my. I'm like like it's like mad child, I
Mm,
all the time. Nobody knows this, but we're friends. You know what I'm saying? And from Solar members, he's doing a tour now. It's just, it's just things like that. And then when sometimes I see, other people, they're like, "Yo, I can't, I really want to do a song." You know what I mean? Upcoming
mm-hmm.
art. But me, I'm like, I have him in my, like, he's my homie, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
more than music for, that's my aha movement, man,
Bro,
basically.
that's dope. We're gonna take a quick ad break. The Zoom is hating on us. They don't like Black excellence. So we're gonna take a break and then I'm gonna join you. I'm gonna re-invite you. So we're just gonna take a break here.
Oh,
Uh,
sure, brother.
all right, Rock. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, peace, my bro. See you.
All right, we are back from the ad break. We have Ruckus. Ruckus, would you like to shout out, promo something for the ad?
Um, yeah, for Ruckus podcast.
Okay, Ruckus Podcast. There you
Yeah,
have it.
man. Yeah, man. I got Ruckus gear. We got Ruckus gear. So man, we're rebranding. The website is up and the page is up, and we're gonna add more product to it. Ruckus
Oh,
gear, and then also check out Ruckus podcast, man. On IG, and Ruckus gear on IG.
mm-hmm.
Ruckus Mobsters, man. I got an EP coming out as well. It's called Hood Legend Part
For
4.
real. Oh, I never
Yeah,
heard. You never told me that before.
yeah, I know. I forgot, man. Yeah, I got a new EP coming out in summer, during the summer. It should be out anytime now. Either beginning of May or June, man. Usually I drop it in June, but I got an EP with a few features,
Mm-hmm.
and it's to back the single. I have a single right now, remix I did on Tupac. I remixed a Tupac. I rapped on a Tupac remix. Ambition as a writer, and
Yep.
that's doing good. People love it. Yeah. So that's to back it up. I'm gonna do an EP out of that, 4 or 5 songs,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's coming out soon, man. So I'm always in the works, man. I have
There
shows.
you.
I'm doing a show in Calgary this summer at the Puff Puff Pass Festival
Oh
on
yeah. What day?
August 5th, 4th, and 5th, 2 days event. Last year was 3 days. This year is 2 days event. Puff Puff
Okay.
Pass Festival. Yeah, man. I'll send you the link there. They sent me. They had. I went there last year. They treated me like family. It's the first time I met these people. Yeah, man. They hugged me and I had a couple of 6 songs that was doing good. That did good. Still doing good on the streaming platform. They like, yo, come through. We chopped it up. Yeah, they blazed with me at the time of my life, man. It was amazing. They paid me too. Like it was Yeah.
That's love. There you have it. We got you. There's a plug. Y'all
Yeah.
check out his podcast, Ruckus podcast, and then y'all check out his music, and then y'all
Yeah.
check out his performances coming up. There you have it, guys. That's the ad, and we're back from where we left off. We left off from the aha moment, but yeah. So his your aha moment is real, man. That's real. Like people are real. I'm telling you. I
Yeah.
guess your energy, Ruckus. It's people don't come across that type of rawness sometimes, I feel like, because it's
Yeah.
like we're starting to see a lot of kids who get easily inspired but don't do anything about it. Yes, you have all the information you need, but you're not actually applying these knowledge that you have. You're just looking at it, it goes in one ear and comes out the next. We need people to actually take action, and you're one of the great example that one of a great person to show the youth, like, listen, I'm
Mhm.
doing it and I don't have anybody behind me. I can do this with you or without you type of mentality mindset.
Right.
And that's
Right.
beautiful, bro. And
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you.
keep
I
it up.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep it
Yeah,
up.
I
So
appreciate that, man. I've changed people's lives. There's people now today that are coming back at me like, "Yo, Ruckus, thank you, man. You know how great you're a good nigga, man. You know they like you're like, yo,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
But, you know, years later, I did still things, help them with certain things, whatever. They're like, oh, they got them a job, whatever, normal stuff, right?
hmm
And they'll be like, but that's what I do. Or they'll be like, yo, how did you get to perform at Dundas Square stage for thousands of people? How did you? I'm like, it took me years
That's
of
big. Yeah,
working
that's
and
big.
planning. Thank you, man. But
If
to
y'all
answer
don't
your
know
question,
Young
man,
and
that's what
Dundas
it is.
Square,
And I did it by
Young,
myself, man.
yeah, if y'all don't know what Young and Dundas Square is, it's a Toronto block. It's on Young and Dundas Street, and
Right
it's one
across the
of the
mall.
right across the Eaton Center Mall, and it's one of the biggest outings outdoor performances that you can catch. And I guarantee you, it's always free and it's always a vibe. So
True.
it's a big deal. Wow, that's big. And
Yeah.
Rock, is like, do you have you said you run a label? What artist is on your roster right now?
Well, I don't. Well, I had a few artists, prior to COVID. I had uh, an R&B singer.
Okay,
Um, and then I had two I had one artist in the West Coast, and then two artists from Gin and Finch, right?
okay.
Um, but they didn't, like, younger, 21. They're 21, 20 in their 20s, right? I even brought one of them on stage at the Dundas Square stage. That's what I do. I
Mm-hmm.
change people's lives, and it's like, it's my first time performing on stage. You're bringing me on the big. I'm like, come through. This is, I built a relationship with you for a reason. You know what I mean? We get
Mm.
along for a reason. We did song for a reason. Let's go and perform it. So yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, so basically now that since COVID, I'm the only one on my label, but I do features with a lot of other artists, and guide, people send me messages for guidance. Yo, what should I do? Yo, Ruckus, what do you think? And I'll give them my knowledge on it. Oh, you think I should do a feature with this person, whatever.
Okay, okay. So kind of like consultation, eh?
That's what I started doing with my record label more and more now since
Oh,
COVID, because I'm still fishing for some official artists. It's so you get to know an artist, and whatever race they are, and then they show you their loyalty is not what they said it was gonna be, and then you're thinking like, yo, I'm
yeah.
gonna put this artist on my label, and then later on you're like, but then when it was time, they said they want to do a song, and then when it was time to do the song or do the show, they're like, "Yo, I can't." And when they talk on it so much, like, it just, you have to be very serious when you say something in this business, to be like,
Yeah.
"Yo," especially when it comes to recording a song at a record label, and and then you don't do it. It kind of, so where I stand right now for my record label, I'm still, you know um fishing out for artists, but there's a lot of affiliates artists that are affiliated to Rap Till Death Records over the years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
416 Savage, salute to him. He's one of them. He's my Toronto. He's a rapper in Toronto.
What's his
You know,
name? Come again?
his name is 416 Savage.
Shout out to 416 Savage. Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? And then I had a lot of other West Coast, but they didn't kept on where until today, there's a guy in the West Coast here in Vancouver that thanking me, yo, thank you. There was a time I didn't know what to do with my music company, and you helped me. Rap Till Death Records really boosted my numbers and put me on these mixtape sites and stuff like that. So it's like, that's what we do at Rap Till Death Records. We do features, we work with other artists.
Mhm.
We're still fishing for this, for certain particular artists, man. Yeah.
Man, if you guys need a record deal, you guys need some cosign, some a show at Young and Dundas, you hit up Ruckus, eh?
Yeah,
But
yo.
yeah, so Rock, we gotta ask, because this is the Vision Board podcast. Any advice you have to someone who wants to do what you're doing? What would you advise them to do?
um, like to do the entertainment business,
Yeah,
music or whatever else, right? Podcasts.
exactly.
I would say, I would say, um, do your research.
Mm,
That's the first thing. If something you're getting it that's new, you don't really know about, or it's something brand new. Do your research first,
mm-hmm,
and then do your research first and see different ways where you can actually do it, and
mm-hmm,
then be a hard grinder. Like, don't ever stop. Don't let nothing stop you. Just keep going. You know what I mean? Keep working at it, and the no will turn into a yes if it's a no. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
And my biggest advice: just be a grinder. Be a person of your word. Be a hard worker,
mm-hmm,
and do your research. Whatever industry you're going into, do your research, because if you don't do your research with certain industry, then doesn't mean that you have to do what others are doing in that industry,
mm-hmm,
but as long that you have the knowledge of what's going on, you know what I mean, in that industry, then you can move forward and be like, maybe not make the same mistakes or certain individual, or you know what I mean, or do go to a different direction. But my biggest advice: always remember, it's 80% business, right?
yep,
And it's 20% talent, right? So you really, in today's world,
mm-hmm,
have the business down, like to a T. You got to have the business side of it, the promotion, the words out, the publishing, you know what I'm saying, the shows, you know what I mean, putting
mm-hmm.
yourself out there like that. That's the advice that I have, man. Yeah.
I like that advice because let me tell you, a lot of guys right now, they're so focused on the art, they're so invested that they don't have that business mindset. Because how else are you going to get that energy to even think business? Because
Right.
all your energy is towards, you're putting, essentially, you're putting 100% of your time and effort and love into the music, that you forget that there's a business aspect side of things. Obviously, if you're an entrepreneur and you're a solo artist, you're unsigned, you have to do everything by yourself.
Right.
Starting off, literally,
Right.
everything is on you. If the
Right.
ship fails, it's because of you,
Right.
basically.
Right.
So, I mean, oh man, you have to really, really balance out your career in a way. It's like 50% artistry and 50% business. It cannot be one, it can't be like
Right.
90% business and then your music sounds like trash. Or it can't
Right.
be like, 90% artistry and then your song doesn't even sell stadiums or stuff like that
Right.
because your promo's trash. So it's
Literally.
like you got to balance it out, and
Yeah.
it seems like you're doing a great job doing that, and I'm actually excited to see how you perform in person.
Oh, yeah.
I hear the sound. Obviously I want to hear it. I would love to hear, because if you have the chance to give me one of your songs, I can put it on the podcast for the
Yeah.
people to like kind of get a feel for your sound.
Oh, for sure. 1000%. And I've
So
made sorry to interrupt, I made that mistake, just to add on a little bit. I made mistakes like that in my life where I was so focused on the art,
oh yeah.
and where I'm like, I was so focused on the art that I'm trying to I'm paving the way for other individual not to make that same mistake, spread the word, be like, yo. But like,
Mhm.
you're right, it's a balance where, like you're saying, when you're doing recording, this is
Mm-hmm.
the time I'm recording for the next 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
This is not promotion time.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have a team, then you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then it's different, right? But then when you focus as an artist, you have to go into that world, the area, you know. And then when
Mm-hmm.
you're doing shows, that's what works. Like that's what I find works. And then when you're doing shows, you're just doing shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's time for you to get behind the keyboard because trust me, I got it. You know, I go in. You know, I got the whole setup and everything. I go in, man. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So
Oh,
it's
I
like,
like that setup.
yeah, I really go in, man. Yeah, man. Have my chair and everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I really like go in and sit there and like and then over the years you get knowledge and promote and you get to know get connections that you never had. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
That you never had to this industry, either a promotional platform or knowledge about Spotify and their platform, and you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Where sometimes it's good for you to be hands on or close to the person that's being hands on because then you're learning too. But you're right though, you have to balance that 50% business, man.
For sure. So obviously, Rock, we're talking about the glitz and glamour. We're talking about business. We're talking about like balancing. We got to
Mm,
get to the tough part. We're not privileged as most people. Let's be honest here. Like
right.
when we look at our upbringings, we weren't the most privileged. I didn't have the latest technology growing up, you know what I mean? But I made ends meet and I made things work with what I had. And a lot of artists should do the same, but we're talking all the good stuff. What about the bad? We got to
Mm,
get there too, because we're not doing this to brag. We're not trying to look good. We're actually trying to make sure that someone out there who's listening picks something. If someone could just pick one thing out of this conversation, for me, that's my success. Okay, I've done my part. You've done your part to make sure that we had a valuable conversation that someone could take home and apply it to their life, and then continue, rinse, repeat. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then hopefully that's valuable enough for someone to take home with them. So without further ado, I want to know like the bad side of the industry that we're in. Like what goes down? What should people be aware of? Because there's so much shit that goes down and we don't talk about it because we're
yeah,
scared.
yeah, there is, man. There's so much shit, but then also it
Without
depends.
without mentioning like groups, like racial
Oh, for
groups and
sure, no,
and and,
no,
and
no,
culture and
no,
religion, but like you know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure.
The bad. What
Yeah.
is it?
It's the bad in the area and the industries that people pick and choose.
There you go. Yeah.
They pick and choose like they but what's been prospering will prosper. What's meant to prosper is gonna prosper regardless. It's gonna make it through.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's like so it's unstoppable. This is the way I've this is the way this is the way I think, and that's the way I've made it to this level.
Mm-hmm.
uh what was your question? Sorry, I just
So what the bad thing about the industry that we're in, the entertainment industry, like you mentioned, a lot of people don't stick to their words.
yeah,
They're saying, oh yeah, 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 I'll do a song with you, I'll do the show with you, but they don't end up actually
right,
doing it. So
right, right.
I would love for you to explain the other side of the obviously the balance side of the bad. Like, okay, maybe it's not a lot of money in this business because a lot of people get into it for the money.
Yeah, literally, yeah, yeah.
So what else should people be aware of getting into this business? Because it's not all pretty. We hear people
Um,
go insane, psycho
yeah,
because they've been in this business industry and
yeah,
people rituals, people been getting used,
yeah,
abused,
yeah,
scammed. Like
right,
I
right,
want to hear that part of things, the scamming
yeah,
part,
yeah,
the
yeah,
abused part, the just
yeah,
the
yeah.
misfortunes, the
That's what people.
mishappens.
Yeah, that's what people do, man. That's what people do. They use people. They they'll tell artists, yo, sell tickets. Like certain artists, yo, sell tickets, and they won't make any money off the tickets.
Hmm.
So they're making all the money, and the artist's not making anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're just and then they do that, and then there's a lot of different like backstabbing, man, that happens in this in this industry, man. And like I was saying, they pick and choose. Like if they want a certain artist, like let's say you're a rapper, I'm a rapper, right? But
Mm-hmm.
just because, but then in the West Coast, I find a lot of that in the West Coast, though, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
they'll pick and choose. Okay, yo, they'll rather pick. This is the truth, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bugging at all. I know for a fact they rather pick their white friend. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Of in a show, or they'll put him in a pedestal, but
Mm.
just because you're a black man, and you might be even
More
more
talented
popular,
or
more
popular.
talented, more everything. But just because they want to pick and choose their boy, like this is their people, this is their friend, this is the white
Mm.
boy they want to pick to put on that level. You know what I'm saying? So they
Mm-hmm.
pick and choose who they gonna, you know what I'm saying? Who they gonna put on there, and then whoever they like, and then whoever is paying them. For example, I'll give you an example. This is a perfect example. I was supposed to do a couple shows with Matt Shaw, right? I talked to him and everything. Not
Yep.
to this real shit. Like, I talked to him, and she doesn't even, I'm not bashing anybody, but I was supposed to do a show, but I had a thing with Robbie G, right? Which
Yep.
I don't say his name, but I've known him for years. We did shows together in the past. We just have differences right now, right?
Okay.
So I told him, like, yo, holla homie, because I talked to him and he's pissing me off. Like, just make things better. So
Mm-hmm.
because he's getting paid by homie's company, he never got back to me to be like, okay, Rock, you can, because it's Robbie G's company that's bringing Matcha out here. So
Right.
he will choose whoever he wants to have opening for him. So he's gonna have all these other rappers that don't know nothing. They're gonna make them sell tickets and don't make no money, and they're gonna take all the money for themselves. And I've argued with them about, and this is the reason why me and Robbie G, we have differences. It's just because I'm not, I'm past that level. Like I've done shows with you where we sell tickets. I've made some money. I'm not gonna lie, I've talked to him. I made some money, but not as much, obvious, that they're making. But now that I know that industry and I know what it takes for you to bring an artist out here and do the same what
Mm-hmm.
they're doing, but at least pay the artists, some of the artists that are performing. They
Mm-hmm.
decide this, oh, you'll sell tickets and we're gonna be eating, so you won't be eating. You know what I'm saying? Or they'll give you peanuts. So be careful of that, man, because there's a lot of vultures out there, and they will
Okay.
take advantage of you, man, and they will and jealousy. People get jealous. Oh, this artist
Um,
is better than me. I'm gonna teach him a lesson. I'm gonna go to
mm-hmm.
the show and pop off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And
That's crazy.
a lot of that happens, man. A lot of that happens, especially in Toronto. A lot of that
Mm-hmm.
happens. You know what I mean? In New York, no, not as much in the West Coast. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
in the West Coast, it's more like it's more like people. That's another thing to watch out for too. It's like people are separated. They're not working together. It's delegated. It's like little groups everywhere. If one or two, three groups comes together, but they don't do that. They do that purposely. So okay, we don't want this person, so we're not gonna put them on the shows. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter if they have a name for themselves. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or they're connected with somebody. They might give you that respect, like, okay, you're connected with somebody, but there are vultures out there, man. The music, and then the music industry is greedy. Is
Oh yeah.
greedy.
Oh
They're
yeah.
greedy. Doesn't matter what level these rappers are, they want to
Yeah.
dig in your pocket. These niggas,
You
I
know
can say
they.
it simple.
You know
These
how.
niggas have millions of dollars, but they worry. Oh, they have like a million followers. They come and holler at me for them to put me on a promotion and charge me money. I'm like, are you for real? Are
That's
you?
crazy.
I can do that by myself. I can make my popularity by my numbers by myself. I'm messing with certain companies. Like I'm educated on that level. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Vultures, my brother. The vultures, man. Culture vultures.
Yo, even in the industry, I heard a lot of rappers are not even willing enough to pay people like their barbers. I heard Lil Baby scammed a barber for $150. Like I'm hearing things like this, and I'm like, but you're showcasing thousands and thousands and millions of dollars online to show people, look, I'm up. But then behind closed door, when it's time to pay up, it's like you're not really about that spending. But I guess, hey man, like you said, vultures and stuff like that, obviously it's gonna happen. All industry, I want to say, Ruck, has their flaws,
Mhm.
has their scamming side of things, like
Right.
uh the finesses. But I think the music industry is the most inconsistent industry in the world, because it's like you how come I grew up with a guy, like he's huge. Like Drake put him on. His name is Moji. Okay, I don't
Yeah.
know if you know him, but like he's
But
from like he's from region.
teacher part, yeah.
Yeah, so this guy, he's been like popping for a while. Like he started the whole dance thing, like Drake does this whole thing. He
Yeah.
started it, right?
Oh
And,
shit.
yeah. So what happened was apparently Drake bodyguard kind of threatened him and like everything's been downhill from there and he started like blasting him, but like what I'm trying to say is he still was like he had enough to go leave the hood, didn't leave the hood, stayed in the hood, and then everybody started to see him as like a crazy guy because now he just seems so resentful of the industry. He just seems bitter. No one wants to listen to his music anymore. He had bangers, like a
Oh,
lot of bangers. So it's like what you do and how you act and how you react is how long people are gonna like the people determine how long you're gonna stay in this industry. It's not you,
one
it's your
thousand.
fans. If the people say, yo, this guy is washed, you are done. If
Yeah, I
people
done.
say you fell off, I'm talking thousands of people are saying, yo, he fell off, you
Yeah,
are done. And there's even
yeah,
shit
yeah,
like, especially in our city, like rappers getting shot,
right.
politics happening, and that ends your career. Like so many, man, so many great guys that I know were shot, and it's just like wow,
Yeah.
why, you know what I
Same
mean? So
here,
I
same here, bro.
guess it's a dangerous industry, and I
Yeah,
don't see the profit side of things being very high for you to do
yeah,
that type of thing. You know, the violence that you're doing, I don't think it really makes sense. But
no,
obviously, Rock, for you though, can I like I want to know, does money buy happiness? Shout out to my boy Anthony and shout out to my boy Ernesto. They have a podcast called Money Buys Happiness. I want to know from you, does money buys happiness?
oh fuck, yeah, this is a big question. um, I really got to think about this one, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Um,
Take your time though.
but it's happiness.
Yeah.
Um, no, man, no,
Why?
because being happy,
Mhm.
um, it doesn't buy happiness because being happy is where um it's a different area, you know, being happy. Like let's say for you have lots of money, right? Let's say you're good, right?
Sure.
But then if you're alone,
Mm,
you're not gonna be happy, right? Not
mm,
be happy that you have all this money,
mm.
but then you're not gonna be happy because you don't have anybody around you. You
Wow.
know people, acquaintances, and this and that, or but then you don't have nobody around you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking from experience, like that happened to me during COVID, man. Because
Really?
like, yeah, everybody was doing their distant thing, you know, the COVID thing.
Yeah. We're
And I was
isolated.
blessed, bro. I was blessed. I was blessed with that. A lot of people were suffering. I was blessed. I was out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was doing great, man. You know what I'm saying? And to different businesses and stuff like that. And I was doing great. And like it was COVID. Nobody
Mm,
was, you know what I mean, was, had maybe one friend or that say what's up, whatever, bring him some spiff, whatever, blaze with him and stuff. But during COVID, it was just literally, but it's just because of that experience and through my life experience as well, it doesn't bring happiness because you don't have nobody around you. You have all this money,
that
and you
part.
know what I'm saying, and you might go and chill one or two people, one two person, or maybe with a stranger, but you're
Mm,
not happy. You know what I'm saying? Like in that sense, you're not happy. You have all this money, but you can't talk to your family, or you're not talking to your family because
that's
of a certain
insane.
situation. You know what I mean? It doesn't bring happiness, man, to life experience of different deals and money situation that I've gotten myself into
Yeah.
to levitate and better my life.
Yeah.
I'm talking from those experience, man. It doesn't. There was a time in my life, I yeah, it does bring happiness. and off and on, this question comes in my head too, you know, off and more I see it, it doesn't, man. It doesn't.
I know,
It
I
doesn't.
agree with
I
you.
kind
I
of
would
feel
say,
I was more happy when I was with my homeboy. You know what I mean? Like, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
feel like when I was in the hood, I wasn't as corporate. I wasn't as, I didn't have as much things to worry about. You know, I was the regular stuff you worry about, like, you know, stuff life. But you know, that's stress. You know, you're kicking with your boy when you're in the hood. You know, some people think, oh, the hood is bad because you know there's a lot of, you know, shooting some hoods, right? And
yeah.
but then when you look at it, you're like, yo, that's. Sometimes I go back and I'm like, I was really happy during those times, though.
Hell yeah. When
You
life
know
was
what I mean?
simple. I even remember when I didn't know what money was, and I was like maybe 8 years old. My mom would probably give me like, I don't know, $20 just to go, just go buy lunch, you know? And I didn't even know. I just knew that this $20 could get me food and I would be happy. But I didn't know like the that $20 wasn't a lot of money. I didn't know that. I was just young. I
Oh,
just
I
had it in
feel
my hand. I had it in my pocket, and I knew I can buy candies with this afterwards. And then I
yeah.
could just like, I could give it to the homeless if I wanted to, and I could use this for bus fare if I wanted to. Simple stuff like that, and I was happy with. But when I got older and I knew like, okay, you need X amount of money to buy a house, you need
Right,
X amount of money for rent, car,
right,
and insurance, and then once those bills are paid and covered, then I'm happy. Then I'm like,
right.
oh, okay, I see what's going on. So responsibility kicked in and stuff like that. But I don't think that money physically itself makes me happy, but I do think that money has the ability to create happiness for yourself and your
I agree.
surroundings.
I agree.
So obviously, again, we want to know what's next for you, Ruckus. I knew it was gonna be a banger podcast, but obviously I want to know what's next for Ruckus in a few
Um,
years.
in a few years from now, what I'm planning to really do is expanding, you know, my podcast
Hmm.
and my clothing company.
Okay.
Because I already have I already have a recording studio that I can expand and do the equipment thing.
Okay.
But I realized, you know, in today's world, it's, you know, the way you can record is different today, right? And So I decided, you know, the next thing that's big for me that's coming up for sure is my clothing, you know, Ruckus gear, clothes, you know what I mean? Ruckus World, you know what I mean? Clothes, Ruckus gear, and then Ruckus Mobsters hats. Basically, that's always been big for me because there's places where I've done shows where I've been, you know, um, after COVID ended, I wasn't situated properly. I was
Hmm.
asked for like hats and clothes at shows for, like, you know, people that watch me perform. You know what I mean? People don't even know, you know, new fans and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Different age group, right? Older than me. They're like, yo, can I buy one of those Ruckus Mobsters hat? You know, you never know, right? And
Say
when people like,
word.
yeah, they're like, some people like boycotting, oh, Ruckus Mobsters hat. They don't even know what it is. It's a brand. It's me. It's part of a, you know what I mean? It's part of my music thing. But what I have coming up that's big for me, definitely it's pushing the envelope, you know, I mean, the pushing the part my podcast,
Hmm.
uh Ruckus podcast, and we're gonna have
Ruckus
more
podcast.
podcast.
Oh,
We're gonna have more topics, man. You know, the last week was racism. I'm gonna get set up. I have the sign, you know, the behind screen, everything. I just want
okay.
to get set up properly. Life gets in the way sometimes, but Ruckus podcast, I'm gonna have more. We're gonna talk about racism. We're gonna talk
Hmm.
about these couple subjects coming up. We already talked about that. We're gonna sum it all up, you know, this week, and then we're gonna talk about hip hop as a culture. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying, in Canada,
Okay.
and other topics that's general, like people are talking about, that people aren't talking about. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Hmm.
as far as uplifting, you know, South Africa, and really, you know, expanding, you know what I'm saying, the motherland and stuff. This is the kind of stuff that I'm into, that I've been into. You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying
Same
earlier when
here.
we started, like my parent, like you know, my family have land. You know what I'm saying, over there. So it's like, it's just for me, it's a no brainer for me to, you know, like you were saying earlier, do the business thing, and then, you know what I'm saying. But that's my biggest venture that's coming up. It's definitely my clothing,
Hmm.
because I'm pushing it. We're talking about runway. You know, I have connections. You know what I'm saying. tons of connections. Talking about runways. You know, I'm talking about Fashion Week. You know what I'm saying?
Dope,
I know people. You know what I'm saying? I'm connecting
dope,
with people that are doing Fashion Week right now. That's been doing it for like a couple of years now.
dope.
Fashion Week, Vancouver, Toronto, everywhere. New
Yeah,
York.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People that my sister grew up with. You know what I'm
That's
saying? People that I know
crazy.
that I was when I was around. Yeah, man. That I
That's
know them.
crazy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now they're like fashion, like they're like these high fashion. You know what I'm saying? I don't want
That's
to say
crazy.
yeah. So it's like and then pushing my stuff into Walmart. I found a way to even do that too. But other people want to do their stuff, you know, street stuff, which is nothing wrong with that, right? Some people want to. Me, this is my next steps. You know, is really getting into the professional part of the actual business with the
Hmm.
clothing company and the
Hmm.
podcast. You know what I'm saying? And the music,
Beautifully
I'll
said.
be doing shows. Definitely, I'll be doing shows
And you know
because
what? I'm gonna
I get
check
to
out
be
your
on.
shows too. I'm
No,
definitely gonna
you
be
love my
check out.
shows. It's a vibe. It's an energy. People say, "Yo, you put on a vibe, put on a show." I jump around. I give people a show to
Even
watch.
the
You
way you're
know?
talking, I want to hear more. I want to hear more. But
Yeah.
obviously, Ruckus, final question we have is the soundtrack that describes your life. This is the famous segment we have. What soundtrack is describing your life right now? It could be your own soundtrack, your own music, other people's music. What vibe are you on right now for to end it off at the Vision Board podcast? What's that soundtrack?
Um, my soundtrack. Well, my biggest probably will be like probably it's my book, which like it's my life. 9 lives.
Nine Lives by who?
That'll be the, that'll be the by. It'll be 9 lives.
Nine Lives.
Um, book, audio book,
Mm-hmm.
movie,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it would be by um it would be it would be by yes, it would be sponsored by Ruckus podcast,
Okay.
but it will be under Rap Till Death Records.
There you
Soundtrack
go.
of my life, man. That's what it is, man. 9 lives, yo. Nine.
Congratulations. Thank you for getting it done, Ruckus. And I'm gonna hit you up. I'll talk to you later, my
Thank you
guy.
so much. Thank you so much, Vision Board, for having me. Vision Board podcast.
Yeah.
Salute to you, my brother. Salute to everybody for tuning in. Peace.
Peace
I'm
out.
gonna interview you too eventually. You know what I'm saying? I'll
All
shoot
right.
back.
All
All
right.
right, brother.
Love.
Salute.